Next concept, joining, merging, and concatenation of data frames. Joining, merging, and concatenation of data frames. See now here, append method will be used for merging two data frames. Data frame dot append used to merge two data frames. It will append the rows of second data frame at the end of first data frame. That is the task of this. See here, it will append this append analysis at the end of the first data frame. The second data frame rows will be added. The second data frame rows will be added. So it will append rows of the second data frame at the end of first data frame. What about the columns? If the columns not present in the first data frame are added as new columns. Will be added as new columns. So we'll see the example on this. df1 is a data frame. First, I need to import pandas as PD. For better practice, even I'll import numpy. So if there is a possibility to use the numpy, we'll use it. So now itself I have imported both the libraries as well. Now df1 is object. We are creating a data frame for this pd.data frame, and nested list I'm going to be create for nested list I'm using for creating the data frame 1 2 3, and will be having 4 5, and in the next row I'll be giving only 6. So one row I have given 3 values, the another row I have given 2 values, and the next row I have given only 1 value. Remaining places, totally it is going to be get 3 columns and 3 rows. The unfilled values is going to be placed with NaN. Unfilled values is going to be placed with NaN. Now here, index we are going to be provide as row 1, row 2, row 3. So if I'm giving here one more row, 11, 22, 33. So four rows, and we'll be having only 3 columns. Columns C1, C2, C3. So only 3 columns we have here. Print df1. So this is the values. So wherever we have, suppose in the second row, here I have given only 4 5. 2 column values I have provided, but we didn't provide the third column value. In that place, it is going to be give as NaN value. NaN value. So now we'll create the another data frame. Let me consider the data frame name is df2 pd dot data frame, and we'll be giving the values 10, 20, and in the next one 30, 40, 50. So I have taken only 3 rows and 2 columns. 3 rows and 2 columns. I'll give the index of row 1, row 2, and 3 rows we have there, row 3 as well. Columns will be giving like this. Just column 1, column 2. Now print df2. So this is a df1 and df2 data frames. Now we are using the append method for merging the two data frames. df1 I'll be getting from df1 dot append of df2. So it means whatever we have, the row 1, row 2, row 3 will be coming at the end of data frame df1. That is after r4 will be getting r1, r2, r3. Now after applying this append, if I am getting this df1, will be getting this. See, wherever it is matching in the row 1, there is no C1, C2, C3 columns. Because of that, in that particular position, we'll be having NN values. And wherever we have the column values like column 1, column 2, in that respective positions, as usual, what the values we have in the row 1, row 2, row 3, it is given. And in the same way, R1, R2, R3 rows, C1, C2, C3 values are there. And column 1, column 2 values, it is going to be given as NN values. We can use a concat as well here. df1 df1 dot concat of df2. Already if I'm printing df1, will be having this one. Will be having this one. So df1 concat, sorry, df1 dot concat of df2. Again, it is going to be get concat. The concat attribute is not working. So okay, fine. So with the help of append method, we can able to get the concat. That is combining of those two data frames. That is merging of two data frames. See, if you want to get the sorted way, how we are going to be do that? The sorted way, let's suppose df2 will be getting from df2 dot append of df1 sort way we are giving test true. In a sorted way, it is going to be get. arranging either ascending order or in descending order. See, here, row 1, row 2, row 3, usually if you observe in this particular output, if you observe, we have at last, but if you see, all the data is arranged in an increasing order. All the data has been arranged in an increasing order here. That is the purpose of using sort order there. Unsorted order, if you want to give, when the parameter sort is there, we can apply the false. Attributes of data frame. What is the purpose of using that attributes? With an example we'll discuss. Data frame dot index will display the row labels. Use it to display row labels. df1 dot index, if I'm giving like this, it is going to give all the index like row 1, row 2, row 3, r1, r2, r3, all. See, it is going to be get the index. Next we have data frame dot columns. Use to display column labels. Use it to display column labels. So if I'm giving df1 dot columns, what are the columns we have? C1, C2, C3, column 1, column 2. That values it is going to be get. That values you are going to be get. And next we have d types. Data frames dot d types, which is used to display data type of each column, in the data frame. df1 dot d types. So data type of each column it is going to be get here. And shape we have data frame dot shape. How many rows, how many columns we have, that is going to be representing represent as a tuple. So comma is going to be separate the row and as well as column. Before comma will be having row value, after the comma will be having column value. Display a tuple representing the dimensionality of data frame. df1 dot shape. How many rows we have, that is going to be get. How many 7 rows and 5 columns are there, it is going to be get that. Next, data frame. If data frame dot values we have, which is used to display a numpy, that is ND array having all the values in the data frame without the access tables. df1 dot values, we're going to be get this. Without row and values, it is going to be displayed as numpy array. Without row values, it is going to be give as numpy array. Next, data frame dot size. Use it to display a tuple representing dimensionality of the data frame. See now, df1.size 35. Total how many elements we have, that is going to be displayed here. See, we have data frame dot t, which is considered as a transpose. Transpose in a sense, the rows will become as columns, columns will become as rows. To transpose the data frame, which means row indices and column labels of the data frame. Replace each other's position. Replace each other's position. Now here df1 dot transpose, the rows is become as columns if you observe here, and the columns become as rows. R1, R2, R3, these and all will be becomes as the rows has become as columns, and these all will be becomes as rows. The columns becomes as rows, rows becomes as columns. That is transpose. That is transpose. As usually, in the series object, we have went through with the head and tail. Similarly, here for the data frames, we have head and tail. Head in a sense, first 5 rows we are going to be get from the data frame by default if I'm not providing any argument. If I'm providing the argument, how many rows we have, it is going to be get from the beginning. Tail in a sense, from the ending, how many rows we need, it is to be get. If we are not passing any argument, by default here as well, it is going to be give 5 from last. Data frame dot head of n. Use it to display the first 10 rows in the data frame. If we didn't mention a argument, by default will get as 5 rows. df1 dot head of, so head if I'm giving here, default 5 rows we are going to be get. And if I'm giving df1 dot head of 2, only first 2 rows it is going to be get for us. Only first 2 rows it is going to be get for us. df1 dot head of 8. So that many rows we don't have in the data frame. How many rows we have? That one it is going to be display. Next, data frame dot tail. Data frame dot tail. Display the last n rows in the data frame. If we didn't given any argument, by default it will use 5 rows from last in the data frame. Tail of 5. sorry, I didn't mention the data frame. df1 dot tail, df1 dot tail. So tail of 5 I've given like this, or else df1 dot tail without any argument. Last 5 rows only it is going to be displayed for us. And if you see here, df1 dot tail of 3, last 3 rows is going to be get row 1, row 2, row 3 and all. So like this, we are going to be use the attribute wherever it is required for us. And in the next session, we are going to be discuss importing and exporting data between CSV files and data frames. By creating the CSV files, how we can able to import the data into the data frame. From the data frame, how we can able to export the data to the CSV file. CSV file is nothing but comma separated value. Just we are passing the values separating with comma, and how we can able to import that into the data frame. For the large set of data, if we want to create the data frame, we need to enter all the data. It is going to be take long time. For that particular purpose, we'll be using the CSV files. We'll be using CSV files. The CSV files we are going to be import into the data frame, and we are going to be perform the operations whatever it is required for us. That and all we'll see in the next session how we can able to import the data from CSV to the data frame and exporting from data frame to the CSV.